At the beginning of the movie, the voiceover informs us that sometimes even the smallest little thing can dramatically change a person's life. The main character named Logan Tebow recalls that in order to find the light, he had to survive the darkness. The man recalls his participation in the capture of the enemy. In the course of this, Logan was ambushed and miraculously survived. The next day, the hero finds a photograph of an unknown woman in the sunburnt rocks and decides to keep it. Thanks to this decision, Logan again avoids tragedy by moving away from the dangerous place. In the hospital, a friend says that this woman is now the hero's guardian angel. It is thanks to her that he was saved. During the party, Logan tries to find out who the photo used to belong to. 8 months later, the hero returns home with his friend, who continues to claim that the photograph protects him. A bombing occurs, during which only Logan manages to stay alive. Arriving home, the hero meets his dog, after which he has dinner with his family. The sister is happy to see Logan, unlike her children. When the boys play the console the next day, the hero reacts painfully to loud and familiar sounds. Soon the boys decide to scare their sleeping uncle, to which he reacts reflexively. The sister advises Logan to take a course of rehabilitation. However, the man is obsessed with the girl from the picture and the desire to find her. Logan leaves his sister a farewell message and decides to go in search of the stranger. After packing a backpack and taking a dog, the hero travels across the vast plains, eager to find a girl stranger who saved his life. In one of the bars, Logan finally learns that her name is Elizabeth Green, and she lives nearby. The next day, the hero comes to the farm, and finally meets his guardian angel. Logan tries to explain the purpose of his visit, but to no avail. It turns out that Elizabeth is engaged in training dogs and also keeps a temporary motel for them. Logan again tries to communicate the purpose of his visit, but the girl misunderstands him and believes that the man decided to get a job. The hero decides to agree to this proposal in order to get to know Elizabeth better. However, after learning that the man came on foot from another state, the girl wants to refuse such an employee. Elizabeth asks her grandmother Ellie Green to talk to Logan, but the woman gives him a job. The hero rents a neglected cottage nearby and gets to work, deciding to fix everything the women couldn't handle. Meanwhile, Elizabeth takes little Ben to daycare and tells him about the new employee. Logan continues to organize his home and work with dogs, distracting from the burdensome past. After a while, a policeman named Keith Clayton appears on the farm, who treats the hero very unkindly. Meanwhile, the girl is going to a meeting together with her son. Keith's father, Judge Clayton, organized a huge party. Logan begins to annoy Elizabeth, but she cannot tell her grandmother about it, because her grandmother is crazy about him. The girl tries to humiliate the hero, but she does not succeed. At the kindergarten, the director persuades Elizabeth to return to work, but the woman says that she needs to think. Logan accidentally learns that Ben plays the violin. A man gives Ellie a ride, and she tells him that her grandson never returned from a business trip from Iraq. Back at the farm, the hero plays the piano, which Ben quietly observes. Later, he has dinner with Elizabeth and her son, and then plays chess with him. However, Ben beats the hero at the game, and the man has to do the dishes for the child. Elizabeth reveals that the boy was taught to show card tricks by her brother, who died last year. Logan again tries to explain the purpose of his visit, but cannot find the right words for it. The next day, Elizabeth and her grandmother visit the resting place of Drake Green. Back home, the girl cannot come to herself from grief and smashes everything around. This is noticed by Logan, and tries to calm Elizabeth. The hero hugs the crying girl while she tells about her brother. Before going to bed, the heroes reflect on the fact that they are gradually beginning to get closer. Logan continues training dogs and having fun with Ben. Soon Keith comes to pick up the boy and says that he will raise him to be a real man. After the game, Ben arrives with a nose injury, which angers Elizabeth. Keith loses his temper and begins to threaten the girl, however, Logan intercedes for her. After a while, the hero visits Elizabeth, and the girl tells him that she married Keith by mistake in her youth, but he will always be Ben's father and will be able to see him. The girl decides to invite Logan for a drink and tells her grandmother about it. After the bar, Elizabeth shows the hero the boat on which her father sailed. The man says that it would be great to fix the boat and go fishing. Back home, Logan hugs Elizabeth, and she reciprocates. However, the romantic moment is disturbed by Keith's friend, who has been following the couple at his request. The next day, Logan stores at the store and unloads the feed and other supplies at the farm. Elizabeth watches these activities thoughtfully at the window, washing dishes. A perceptive Ellie notices this and lightly teases her granddaughter, throwing her off balance. Finished with his work, Logan decides to get busy fixing the boat to give the girl a surprise. However, the lights go out throughout the farm, and the hero returns to the house, noticing Ben, who is learning to play chess. Logan finds Elizabeth and confesses that he really wanted to see her. The feeling proves to be mutual, and the flame of love is ignited between the couple. The next day, Logan goes boating with Ben, which Elizabeth watches fondly, thinking that Keith has never been so affectionate with his son. The characters have a wonderful time and enjoy it. Elizabeth communicates with her grandmother and tells about her affair. However, the girl is sure that no one can be that good, so it will all end sooner or later and hurt her again. At Ben's birthday party, Keith watches the hero with displeasure and decides to talk to ex-wife. The man takes to blackmailing Elizabeth. Kit claims that if he tells about their affair in court, Ben will definitely be put under his full custody, because the girl will be considered incompetent. Elizabeth realizes that her ex-husband's father is a judge, so all his threats could easily become a real problem. After the party, the girl tells Logan about everything and says that she can't lose Ben. The frustrated hero wanders away from home, not knowing what to do next. Unexpectedly, Keith appears, satisfied with his plan, and begins to mock Logan, mocking his grief. The man offers the hero a new, more prestigious job. However, Logan decides to refuse and leaves. In the evening, Ellie reprimands her granddaughter for allowing Keith to bully her even after the divorce. Elizabeth snaps, believing she is obligated to sacrifice everything for Ben. However, her grandmother thinks that this is more foolishness than selflessness. The girl watches her sleeping son and wonders if she is doing the right thing by sacrificing her own happiness and love. Meanwhile, Logan continues to work on the boat, wanting by all means to please Elizabeth, who has gone through a lot of suffering. The next day, the girl brings Ben to Keith and quarrels with the man. Elizabeth is ready to fight for her rights in court, but no one else will not let anyone else pry into her life and tell her what to do. After that, the girl comes to Logan and kisses him, realizing that this time she finally did the right thing. The heroes decide to stay alone with each other. The next morning, Elizabeth accidentally almost discovers the photo that brought Logan to her, however it doesn't happen. In the afternoon, along with Ben, the couple unpack in their new home, feeling happiness literally overwhelm them and give them the strength to move on with their lives after all the horrors they've been through. Ellie reports that her friend has injured her wrist and cannot perform in the choir. Logan offers to replace her and suggests that Ben join in. However, the boy flatly refuses and runs away, not wanting to play in front of the audience. The hero decides to talk to Ben and says that he needs a partner at the performance, and they will take care of each other. This calms the boy down, and he agrees to participate. Back home, Ellie and her granddaughter watch Ben play with amazement. At night, the couple spends time together again, which is watched with undisguised hatred by Keith, who is watching from his car. The next day, Logan performs at church with his little partner. Everyone is delighted by Ben's playing, and Keith feels that all this time he was unfair to his son and did not notice his talents. After the performance, Elizabeth tells the principal that she's ready to try to go to work again, and Judge Clayton admires Ben's playing, since he didn't even realize his grandson was into music. Logan takes the girl's hand, while Keith watches them with annoyance. However, from his friend, the man learns that the hero once showed him a photo of Elizabeth in a bar and asked where she could be found. Back home, Logan senses something amiss and realizes that the picture he kept under his book has disappeared. In the evening, Keith comes to Elizabeth and gives her the picture. The girl is surprised that Logan had it, since she gave it to Drake. Keith slanders the hero, believing that he may wish Elizabeth harm, and contentedly goes home. Meanwhile, Logan arrives at his lover's house and finally tells the truth. Elizabeth is touched that she became his guardian angel during a difficult time. However, she can't accept that the photograph was meant to save Drake from danger. The quarrel between the heroes is overheard by Ben, and cries when Elizabeth asks the man to leave. The boy runs out of the house and gives Logan his chess book, saying that he needs it more. In parting, the hero gives Ben his token and asks him to keep it safe. The next day, Elizabeth arrives at the boat and sees that it is completely fixed. Meanwhile, Logan buys groceries to go back to his sister or try his luck elsewhere. There, he is spotted by a drunken Keith and behaves extremely rudely. However, Logan does not respond to provocations and disarms the man, after which he leaves. In the evening, Elizabeth cries, not knowing how to move on with her life. Ellie comforts her granddaughter and tells her that Logan is not to blame for what happened to Drake. Meanwhile, the hero looks at the book that Ben gave him. In the book, the man finds an attached picture of Drake with the boy. Meanwhile, Keith comes to Elizabeth and asks her to become a family again. When the girl refuses, he decides to take Ben away. Hearing this, the boy decides to escape to his treehouse. However, the bridge he is standing on breaks. Kit tries to save his son and falls into the water. Logan manages to save Ben, but the cabin falls on Keith and is carried away by the current. The hero gives Elizabeth the photo and tells her that her brother tried to save his fighter. When Logan tries to leave, the girl catches up with him and hugs him. A short time later, the hero joins Elizabeth and Ben on a boat ride, just as they had dreamed. This is the end of the movie. Thank you all for watching this video to the end. Give this video a like. Write in the comments what you think about this movie, and see you in new videos.